Hi guys, Ian here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we'll take a look at the CCZ TianGong Pro CZ12. Retail price for this is $60 and if you are interested to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link down in the description below. So I've spent some time with this and today I'll share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about this TianGong. So let's begin first with the accessories. Alright, so let's skip the unboxing process entirely to keep the information dense and get straight to the point. So let's take a look at what's inside the package. You are provided with 3 standard size of silicone ear tips. They are of decent quality, fairly generic, but serve their purpose effectively in achieving a secure seal. Included as well is a detachable dual parallel silver plated copper cable terminated in 3.5mm plug and it utilizes a 0.78mm QDC 2-pin connector which feels highly durable and resistant to daily wear and tear. Now moving on to the design and build quality, the TianGong features a highly impressive all-metal construction. The entire housing is crafted from a very durable zinc alloy with a nice frosted texture that does an excellent job of resisting fingerprints and smudges. Now looking at the faceplate, it features a visually striking gear-inspired mechanical aesthetic set behind a small transparent window, which gives the earpiece a highly premium industrial vibe. The build quality here is absolutely exceptional for a $60 set. It feels incredibly robust, completely seamless and practically tank-like when held in the hand. You will not have to worry about the longevity of these IEMs. Alright, so let's talk about fit and comfort, and because of that dense zinc alloy shell, these IEMs do carry some noticeable physical weight. However, CCZ has shaped the inner cavity with great ergonomics in mind. Once properly inserted in my ears, the weight distributes evenly across the contour of my ear and I experience absolutely no sharp pressure points. The smooth metallic edges make them surprisingly comfortable for long gaming or listening sessions, and they provide above average passive noise isolation once I secure a good seal with the right ear tips. Alright, so moving on to the sound department. First, let's start off with the technical specifications. The TianGong utilizes a hybrid driver configuration consisting of one 10mm dual dynamic driver and 5 balanced armatures. It operates at an impedance of 16 ohms and has a sensitivity of 101 dB. The frequency range is from 20 to 20,000 Hz and it utilizes a 0.78mm QDC 2-pin connector. Now in terms of compatibility, I tried this with my MacBook PC DAPs and DACs, and because of its sound signature, I recommend pairing this with a warmer source or a slightly analog sounding dongle DAC. The low impedance and high sensitivity of this IEM is very easy to drive straight out of your phone or laptop. However, a warm source will significantly help in taming some of the extreme treble energy that we will discuss in just a moment. Alright, so let's talk about the tone and timbre, and we must look at a few specific elements. Regarding the naturalness of instruments and vocals, instruments carry good fundamental weight in the lower registers, but upper register strings and cymbals can sound slightly artificial due to a prominent treble spike. Discussing the digital versus analog feel, the presentation leans heavily towards a digital and highly analytical feel, largely courtesy of that 5 balanced armatures, pushing the highs to their absolute limits. Now in terms of warmth versus coldness, the low-end tuning provides a comforting warmth, but extreme upper frequencies aggressively shift the overall balance towards a colder, sharper and more clinical sound. Now looking at the overall tonal balance, this is decidedly colored and energetic set rather than a flat reference neutral monitor. Alright, so let's talk about the technical performance. First, the soundstage width is definitely above average, stretching nicely past the ears to give a grand sense of scale. Depth and height are moderate. The overall 3D projection and holography are quite commendable for a budget hybrid in-ear monitor, placing you right in the center of the performance. As for sound separation, the multi-driver setup really shines here. It keeps individual instruments cleanly distinct from one another, ensuring that nothing blends together even in busy, highly complex tracks. As for instrument layering, left to right channel distinction is highly accurate. Imaging precision in busy mix is solid, allowing you to pinpoint directional audio cues with ease, which makes it excellent for both critical listening and competitive gaming. As for detail retrieval, micro details in reverb tails and background elements are heavily pushed forward and easily noticed. Low volume articulations such as breathy vocals and subtle cymbal strikes are highly audible. Performance at low versus high volumes is quite interesting because of the treble elevation. Performance actually scales quite well at lower listening listening volumes where the details remain present without becoming overwhelming. Finally, we come to the resolution. The overall sharpness and refinement are undeniably strong. The ability to distinguish overlapping instruments is fantastic, though the macro versus micro resolution balance heavily favors the analytical micro resolution over smooth macro resolution, meaning you will hear the tiny nuances more prominently than the overarching musical flow. Alright, so now let's talk about the sound signature, and the TianGong presents a very lively, energetic V-shaped sound signature. Now looking at my graph, it closely shadows the Hammond target in the mid-range but deviates significantly in the extreme highs. As for sub-bass, the extension goes quite deep, allowing you to physically feel the lowest note. It leans heavily towards a clean texture rather than earth-shattering rumble. Control is excellent. It remains exceptionally tight versus bloated, ensuring the sub-frequencies never muddy the rest of the mix. As for the mid-bass, impact and punch are distinctly elevated above neutral, providing a very satisfying visceral slam. There is a very minor bleed into the lower mids, but it adds a welcome sense of body. Note weight is decidedly thick versus lean, giving bass guitars and kick drums a robust, authoritative presence. As for the mid-range, clarity of vocals and instruments remain excellent despite the bass elevation. There is a slight recession in the mix, typical of a V-shaped tuning. Regarding male versus female vocal performance, male vocals possess good, thick authority, while female vocals take a slight step forward, presented with excellent energy and presence. Now moving on to the pinna gain, the naturalness of the ear gain rise is superb, tracking the Hammond target almost perfectly up to 4 kHz. There is absolutely no sibilance or shout in this region. Tonal accuracy in the upper mids is generally very pleasant, engaging and highly accurate. And finally, we come to the treble, and the extension reaches extremely high. There is an abundance of air and sparkle. However, concerning harshness, peakiness and fatigue, the lower treble has a relaxed dip, avoiding early harshness, but there is a massive sharp peak right at around 11 to 12 kHz, and this can absolutely induce fatigue over long listening sessions. Perceived resolution from this treble content is massive, but it introduces an unnatural metallic zing. Alright, so that's the overall sound signature of the TianGong. Now let's compare this with a similar IEM like the CZ12 Pro X, which also features a single dynamic driver and multiple balance armatures. There are notable differences in tuning. The TianGong has a smoother lower treble but features a massive 12 kHz air peak, whereas the CZ12 Pro X is more aggressive in the upper mid-range and sharper in the lower treble. Looking at the differences in technicalities, the TianGong offers a wider soundstage and more apparent micro details, while the CZ12 Pro X provides marginally better macro details with slightly less artificial air up top. Alright, so let's conclude, and for my value verdict, $60 the TianGong offers an incredibly durable all-metal build and a highly analytical fun sound signature. If you are someone who loves massive amounts of air, heavily enhanced micro details and a tightly controlled punchy low end, this is a very solid value proposition. However, treble sensitive listeners, you might want to look somewhere else or utilize some equalization to tame that intense brilliance peak. Well, ultimately, it is a technically capable IEM that heavily prioritizes energy and extreme resolution over a purely natural timbre. Alright guys, so that's it for my overall thoughts and opinions about the TianGong. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name's Ian. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.